Hi, Les from Retired and Living the Dream, and today's the day, the interview with a representative from Pacific Cross. Now I'm going to let you introduce himself, and we're going to go through various questions that people have sent on the videos and answer all of them questions that everybody wants to know with regard to medical insurance here in Thailand. And it's not as frightening and daunting as it may seem. We're going to answer a lot of the questions today, but also I'm going to put an email message down at the bottom here, the link. So if you've got any questions that you want to know, send this guy an email and he'll answer all the questions that you want to know. So introductions.
All right. Thank you so much for the introduction, Les, and thank you so much for having us today. And hello to everyone that's watching from home. So my name is Loic. I've been with Pacific Cross for just about over 4 years now. I work out of our head office here in Bangkok, and we assist individuals, families, and groups living in Thailand with their health insurance needs. So we understand that the health insurance landscape in Thailand is quite different from other countries around the world, maybe quite different to your home country. So we've received quite a few questions, and it seemed like a very hot topic, especially in the retirement segment, because there are certain visa types that need health insurance. So today's purpose is to address those questions and sort of open up the door for future questions that you may have, right?
Okay, so we'll start off with the two different types of visa and medical insurance required. And our Pacific Cross also deal with the OA applications where you do need insurance. So I'll let you explain what you cover for that.
All right, so in 2019, just a bit of a mini history lesson regarding the OA visa, they applied an insurance requirement for people on this visa type. It's sort of a newer visa type compared to the O retirement, so there's a much smaller pool of people. And the insurance requirement back in the day, 2019 roughly, was 400,000 baht inpatient and 40,000 baht outpatient coverage. And sort of when COVID came along, the health insurance requirements increased, not only for the OA visa holders, but also for any foreigner or expat entering Thailand. So there was a $100,000 insurance requirement that was implemented in 2020, and they then made it official for the OA visa holders as well. So the insurance requirement was increased to 100,000 USD or 3 million baht. So it's quite a considerable change in terms of coverage and the cost of insurance as well, unfortunately. But there are ways where you can lower the premium and make sure that you're not spending too much out of pocket. Maybe you already have coverage back in your home country, whether you're covered by the NHS or government insurance. Maybe you've already had health insurance with your employer when you're retired. But from what we see, a lot of people don't have coverage here in Thailand. And Les was telling me about a session that he did with the Pattaya Expats Club, and how so many people here are actually uninsured. And it's worth reviewing what options are available in Thailand, and to sort of see firsthand what the process is like.
Yeah, so many people hear so many stories with regard to insurance that, oh, you won't be insured for this, you won't be insured for that. So I think people take the easy route and just say, oh, well, I won't get insurance. And I've actually been insured since I actually came to Thailand 11 years ago, but I've been insured for the past 10 years. And I would recommend anybody to get insurance. Now, I've only got the basic insurance of 700,000 baht. And there are many people who've said to me, it's not worth it, the 700,000 baht. But my own peace of mind, I'd sooner have 700,000 bahts worth of cover than not. And the annual premium for that, for me, for a 63-year-old, was about 25,000 baht. I can find 25,000 baht, no problem, but can I find 700,000 baht? No. So that's why I'm trying to say, and this is why we've got the representative from Pacific Cross here, to explain there's various ways and means and cost packages with regard to insurance. Don't just write off insurance, it's unaffordable. There's a package there for everybody, no matter what age you are. And the sadness and the truth is that the older you get, the more it's going to cost, and the less you're going to get covered for it. But, as I said, with regard to pre-existing conditions, I'll let you explain as to the pre-existing conditions.
Yes, so pre-existing conditions, something that many people have as we get older. And the relationship between pre-existing conditions and insurance companies can be quite complex. And I must also mention that it's truly based on your own health profile, your own medical history, and what conditions you've had in the past. So we'll go through a few of the basics in terms of pre-existing conditions. I understand that some of the questions we received are related to specific health conditions, and one of the more common questions is about high blood pressure. So this is very common. The baseline for hypertension in different countries, especially the US, the baseline for adding or starting hypertension medicine is much lower compared to Thailand. So for that reason, a lot of people in these Western countries have been taking blood pressure medicine for quite a few years, even before they retire. So with insurance companies, it really depends. And perhaps we can go through a few different examples of applicants with a sort of case study of how frequent they have hypertension or how frequent they take the medicine and how many years they've been taking it for. So most people that apply with hypertension, they're actively taking blood pressure medicine. So with blood pressure medicine, when you apply for health insurance, usually it would be a pre-existing condition and it would be excluded from coverage on your policy. That's one of the most common scenarios. Another scenario would be if someone has a history of hypertension, let's say maybe 5 years ago, but their condition has improved probably by diet or by exercise, and they no longer take hypertension medicine anymore. So in a scenario like this, it's possible, based on your BMI, based on other factors like your cholesterol level, whether an exclusion would be applied or perhaps a waiting period instead. It's also common for insurance companies to not fully exclude the condition, but to instead apply a waiting period. So a waiting period is a period where someone is not covered for a certain condition until the waiting period ends. It could be a 1-year waiting period, 2 years, or 3 years, depending on your health history. And these are sort of the conditions that you can expect to see. And over time, for example, one of my clients, he's been a client for roughly 4 years now. And when this person applied, he had a history of hypertension, stopped taking medication roughly 3 years before he applied for the policy. We still applied the exclusion, but we have a clause within our renewal notices that says whenever you renew your policy, you can always submit lab tests or medical records to see if our company can improve the conditions on your policy. So what he did, I think it was roughly 2 years into being a policyholder of ours, he took annual checkups, he did his blood work, he submitted each year's blood work over to us along with his medical records. And we saw very clearly that there have been no symptoms of hypertension, number one. Number two, he hasn't been taking medication for quite some time as well. And it was a clear decision for our underwriting department to remove the exclusion in its entirety. So what I'm trying to say is, in the whole family of pre-existing conditions, once they're applied in the beginning, they're not set in stone, but the insured person also has to make the effort to speak to Pacific Cross, speak to your agent, speak to your broker, speak to your intermediary, and see what possibilities are available for you. It's always worth doing. You might spend a few hours looking into it. You might have to take a few lab tests, but I would say in preparation for anything that would happen in the future, it's very worth the effort to do so. So with pre-existing conditions, that's kind of how it looks like. But it's on a case-by-case basis. It depends what conditions you have. And for someone that perhaps takes a very high dosage of certain types of medication, and if they have a combination of pre-existing conditions, it's also possible that the exclusions extend to other parts, like for example, a heart waiting period, a heart copay or cardiac copay. It really depends, but we'll try to do our best to provide the best conditions as possible, and over time we can always look back at them.
Yeah, very well put. Do you also offer a discount for no claims bonus?
Yes, so the no claim bonus or discount is one of the benefits of our plan, I must say, even compared to other Thai insurance companies. So in the first year of not having made any claims, you get a 10% no claims discount. In the second consecutive year of no claims, it goes up to 15%. And from the third year onwards, it goes up to 20%. So a lot of people, especially in the retiree segment, they're not really prepared to pay such a high amount for health insurance, because perhaps you have a budget, you have a pension that you need to live within. So, and a lot of people just don't want to go to the hospital, right? You can sort of, self-insure for minor types of treatments such as outpatient, medical treatment for outpatient in Thailand is very affordable compared to other more developed countries. So that's a huge benefit. And the way you want to look at health insurance is to keep it for the large, more serious events, whether it's chronic illness treatment such as cancer, whether it's a large or major accident. And what you can do is, each health insurance plan has inpatient and outpatient coverage. But what you can do is remove certain types of coverage, add a deductible or excess to lower that premium. So for example, if the full annual premium for your age group is, let's say, 40,000 baht per year, when you remove outpatient, you get a 20% discount. And actually a lot of people, they don't really know what outpatient coverage is, right? So just a quick background on it. Outpatient coverage is medical treatment where you spend 6 hours or less in a hospital. It's for headache treatment, minor stomach aches, minor outpatient surgeries. And that is what outpatient treatment is. It's not really, necessary on a health insurance plan. It's nice to have, definitely, because outpatient treatment can build up, if you have physiotherapy treatment, if you require ongoing medication. It is nice to have, but it's not necessary. So what we always say is remove outpatient, premium comes down by 20%, add a small deductible or excess, and small, I mean roughly 40,000 baht. And that 40,000 baht gives you a 25% discount on your premium. So already your premium has come down, almost by half. And 40,000 baht as a deductible or an excess, it's not a life-changing amount, I feel. It's something that you can put together in the event that something happens. Some people are comfortable with it, some people are not comfortable with it. And we do have a wide array of options in terms of deductibles, ranging from a 20,000 baht deductible or excess. And for people that just want the cheapest premium, you go up to 300,000 baht, which gives you an additional 50% discount. So you got to do what's comfortable for you, based on your lifestyle and based on your health insurance or medical needs. A lot of people that are on retirement visas that, they just want to tick the immigration box, or, they just want to make sure they have some type of coverage, they'll just go for the 300,000 baht deductible. Just make sure that they have all the documents they need for immigration. And, they still have a lot of coverage in the event that a claim does exceed 300,000 baht, especially for the OA visa, where you need 3 million baht in coverage.
Yeah, that's some people regard that as a ticky box insurance because
Right.
you get that just so you can get your OA visa. Now I'm going to go further on that. I've got a live stream on Sunday with regard to the OA visa, and it's losing its favourability because of these massive insurance requisites, if you like, to be able to get your OA visa, when there are other alternatives where you can shop around for your medical insurance and basically get better quality for a lesser price. So thanks very much for that. That actually covered one of the other questions that I have. Do you have any suggestions on how we keep the premiums low? But you've pretty much covered that, as I say, by not having outpatients. Now, I'll just give you a quick thing about outpatients is very, very cheap to go and see a doctor here. My wife was ill a couple of weeks or so ago, and she had to go and see the doctor. And we went there at 11 o'clock on the evening to a public hospital, I must say, and she was in and out within an hour with a medication, a bucket load of pills and tablets and lotions and potions, and the whole experience was 550 baht to go and see a doctor and come out with medication. So don't be afraid that you have to have outpatients covered because it's so cheap to go and see a doctor here. So that covers that.
Agreed.
Also, a question to ask with Pacific Cross Insurance: is it just the big hospitals that you have to go to, or can you go to a mediocre type of hospital where your money will go a bit further, your insurance?
Right. So this is a perfect example of how well you have to understand your own coverage, your room and board limit daily, your hospital expenses limit, your annual limit of coverage. You've got to understand your plan quite well, and this is why it's important to have a good consultant so that you can review the positives and the negatives of your plan. So depending on the person's lifestyle, some people, they just want to go to a 5-star hospital, whether it be Bangkok Hospital, Bumrungrad, B&H. There's quite a few, and they're quite well known globally, even for medical treatment. So those hospitals, of course, they're in our cashless treatment, or in other words, direct billing network, meaning all you would have to do is bring your medical card to the hospital, and they will reach out to our company to adjudicate the claim, right? So that's for the big private hospitals. In terms of public or government hospitals, we do have a few of the more popular ones in our hospital network. So the most famous ones in Thailand would be Chulalongkorn Hospital. That would be in Bangkok as well. The second one, which is very popular and a lot of key people actually are treated in this hospital. It's called Sililat Hospital, which is also in Bangkok. So with these two hospitals, we do have a cashless treatment or direct billing network, and we do have a few others around Thailand where you can benefit from as well. And the interesting thing about healthcare in Thailand, or even doctors in Thailand, is a lot of the doctors that are in your 5-star or 4-star hospitals like Bangkok Hospital or Samitivet, their sort of full-time gig or full-time job is actually at these more local and public hospitals like Chulalongkorn, like Sirirat, where the medical treatment will be quite similar. You might not get the bells and whistles of a VIP room, the best service, but it's medical treatment. You don't want to be in a hospital anywhere, right? Yep. And if, for example, if you have a more entry-level health insurance plan, understand that and just make sure that you find a hospital that sort of suits your coverage.
Yeah, that's perfect. Also, what people you briefly touched on that with some of the 5-star hotels, it's a cashless thing where they ask for payment direct with the company. We talked about it earlier on. If you're in your first year or 2 years of coverage and you go to a mediocre hospital, you may be asked to pay upfront before you actually claim on the insurance policy. So there's a couple of incidences where that may happen, but it also may not.
Exactly. So this is sort of a situation where clients might get a bit frustrated, or insurance companies in general might get quite a bad rep for the way it's processed. And usually with an insurance company, it's a legal form of contract, right? So to breach that contract is illegal by not only the Thai law, but depending on which country you are, it's also illegal. So what an insurance company does is, in the event of a first major claim, which usually we will do this process within the first 2 years of your policy. So let's say you've been a client for 1 year, you go to the hospital, and the medical treatment that you seek is for more chronic illness treatment, such as maybe a malignancy, maybe a tumor, or some sort of cancer. For an insurance company, what we would need to do is, first of all, review your medical records to see whether this condition is pre-existing or whether you've had it before you signed up for a policy, and make sure that it falls within the policy guidelines. So what we will have you do is sign a few medical history release forms. Depending on the hospital, some hospitals might take 1 week to send us the medical records. Some hospitals, especially the public or government hospitals, they'll take up to 1 month to send us the records. Once we receive it, it only takes a few days for us to review and then provide the hospital or you with what we call a guarantee of payment, or GOP in insurance and medical terms. And that sort of guarantees that, yes, we'll pay for the medical treatment directly to the hospital. So this is sort of the situation where you have to understand that it is possible. And it's quite common in the insurance industry for that to happen anyways.
Yeah. So basically, it's don't be afraid of that. Okay, the likelihood it may happen, but once you've had your first claim, the likelihood that you have to pay first time again is being reduced because now they've got all your medical records.
Exactly. We don't need to do that again, right? Yeah. This only happens once, and then we already have your medical records for any future treatment. right?
And basically, we've got hundreds of questions.
Yeah.
And sorry we can't answer every single question, but what we've done is typically lump them into various sections type of thing. So I apologise if I don't specifically answer anybody's or everybody's questions, but you can imagine the time frame to answer every single question. We'd be here for hours. But one of them that sort of came across was the 79ers. You know, is there insurance for 79ers and above? And I think the answer to that is yes, but the premiums are going to be much more expensive. Sadly to say that the older you get, the more expensive insurance is going to be. But you do need a medical from the age of 65 upwards. Correct. To be able to get insurance anyway. So basically what we're saying is the earlier you get insurance, the better it is for you in the long run. Pacific Cross will actually insure you up to the age of 99.
Correct.
If you've been a member, no good starting at 90. You know, basically, the earlier you start, the cheaper your insurance is going to be, and the more that you can build up your no claims bonus and things like that. And how often does the insurance premium go up?
So our premiums increase every 5 years, Les, and it's based on your age bracket. So, you know, a general overview is, you know, if you're 51 to 55, you'll pay one premium. Once you're 56 to 60, it'll increase between a range of 10 to 20%. And the increases do slightly increase as well the older you get. So, you know, to go a bit deeper on annual premiums for insurance companies, I think it's a good idea to go into the structure of annual premiums and go a bit deeper into those details. So insurance companies, they'll create premiums with two different methods. The first would be a community rating, meaning the entire community of clients that we have. That's called a community rating. And the premium would increase based on the entire claims of the whole community or company. And your premium would increase from a range of, I'd say, roughly 5%. We've also seen some companies increase the premiums by 200%. So you can't really predict what your premium will be because, you know, they don't have a premium table where you can see, you know, what is my premium when I'm 71, when I'm 75. So that's one structure which quite a few companies, not only in Thailand, but around the world, will also carry out. The second is what Pacific Cross does, and most of the Thai insurance companies would follow this structure. It's called experience rating. And this is a good one. And it's interesting for you guys to understand that when you're also reviewing insurance companies. So experience rating is your premiums are structured according to your claims history and your age. So for example, you'll know that your premium is this amount between this age group. You'll know that by the time you turn 65, 70, 75, you'll know exactly what your premium is. And based on your claims history, like we discussed the no claim discounts earlier, if you don't make any claims, you get a no claim discount up to 20%. And the next part is also key. It's, will insurance companies ever increase my premium in the event that I make a large claim? So, you know, some insurance companies with the community rating, like I mentioned earlier, your premium will increase every year, no matter if you made a claim or not. With Pacific Cross, you know, let's say that you claim a considerable amount, let's say 1 million or 2 million baht. The maximum that we would increase your premium by is by 25%, maximum, right? And that's, you know, that's kind of important to understand because you will understand that, you know, an insurance company in Thailand, you know, we follow the guidelines by the OIC or the Office Insurance Commission. It's illegal for us to cancel someone's policy if you make a big claim, or to not offer a renewal for your plan in the following year if you make a big claim. That's an important point. And if something does happen, you can expect a 25% increase in your premium, which when you really calculate it out, it's not such a large amount, right? So you can sort of expect what you would pay in all situations.
Yeah. It would take a long time for them to recover their million baht, a 25% increase in premium.
Yeah,
so,
but that's insurance, right?
Yeah. So
yeah, that's insurance.
Yeah, it's well worth it. If well, I mean, not that you want to make a million baht claim in the first place, but talking about money and the payment plans and that, do you do a monthly, quarterly, or 6 monthly payment plan?
Yes. So we do have a few options available. The main one would be annual payments where you don't pay any surcharge. Next, we have semi-annually or twice a year. And we also have quarterly, 4 times a year, where the surcharge is 5% per installment, right? So it's not a huge surcharge, but it is an option that is available for people with us. We also have monthly installments available. However, it's only possible if you have a Thai credit card.
Okay.
So a lot of people that sort of move to Thailand in the first year, they don't have a Thai credit card, or it's quite difficult to get a Thai credit card anyways as a foreigner, but it is possible. Or maybe your wife or girlfriend has a Thai credit card. And in that situation, you could do monthly installments over 3, 4, 10 months even at 0% interest. So it's a very popular option and it is available.
Yeah. And another big question to ask as far as monthly payments, just say if you got it, you pay your quarterly payments and you're ill within the first quarter. So because you haven't paid the full annual premium, will you still get your treatment? Is there going to be any possibility, or do you have to pay the full premium before you get the rest of your treatment? I know that's a big question that a number of people asked. If they paid it on a quarterly payment or 6 monthly payment, would they be insured for the full amount of money if they hadn't paid the full premium?
It's a great question, and it kind of gets you thinking, okay, what really happens in the event where I don't pay for one of my installments? So insurance contracts are for the full year. That's, let's say you have $1 million in coverage. That's for the full year of coverage. However, the payment installment, let's say you pay for just the first quarter, it's simply a way to break up your payments over the year. It doesn't affect your coverage by any means. So let's say you've just paid your first quarter, but you've just made a large claim. It's not like you have to pay for the next quarter or for the full year before you receive medical treatment.
Yeah.
That's not the case, but it's a good question to sort of understand.
Yeah, it concerns a lot of people because obviously the older you get, the more you have to pay in premiums. And there is a number of people would take out insurance if they could pay it monthly, quarterly, or even every 6 months, because it just saves firing that big lump sum every year. And that's a great plan to be able to get. I'm going to put the email address at the bottom here. So if you need any information, then just please send him an email and he'll answer any and every question. These are just a taster number of questions. Literally, we've had many, many, many questions with regard to medical insurance. And I'm sure if we had everybody sat in this conference room today, we'd be here for hours and hours and hours answering them. Because with every medical condition, there's a criteria that everybody will have to abide by. And I can't answer every single question that's here. So this is just a taster to say, don't be afraid of obtaining medical insurance. Medical insurance is affordable here in Thailand. The treatment in the hospitals is second to none. And it's much, much cheaper to get any medical procedure here than it is in any of the Western world. Sadly, when we get older, we have to pay more and more money, but that's just a fact of life. There is no magic wand where you're going to get insurance for free anywhere in the world. So, unless you've got anything else to offer on that.
Sure, I might add just something on that as well, Les. Feel free to reach out to us, whether you're planning to retire in Thailand, planning to move to Thailand, whether it be this year, next year, in the next 5 years. I've even received inquiries for some people, because you've got to prepare for the future. You've got to understand what it will cost, especially if you're choosing certain types of visas that need health insurance. And reaching out to us, directly, it's a free consultation. You don't need to pay anything for it. You can ask us questions based on your visa requirements, and there's a lot of technicalities and details that you would need to understand with some of these visa types. For example, matching your visa period to your insurance policy start date. What happens if I change visa? What happens if I change my coverage? There's a whole lot of details that we can go through. And on my team, just my team, we have roughly 8 consultants, and we speak a whole bunch of different languages, from French to Japanese to Chinese. So, if you're more comfortable in your home language, I'm sure we can cater and help you out, right? Yeah. So I'd like to thank Les so much for today as well, for the opportunity to address these questions.
Yeah, well, thanks so much for coming.
Yeah.
It's been hopefully advantageous to everybody that's watching this, because Visas and medical insurance are my two biggest topics that everybody asks the questions on. Just one final thing. As far as I understand, Pacific Cross is also worldwide coverage.
Great question. So, yes, we do provide worldwide coverage for up to 90 days per trip. You can have multiple trips per year. But if to understand more of the details is, we provide worldwide treatment for non-elective treatment. Non-elective treatment is, like emergency treatments such as sports injuries, motor vehicle accidents, heart attacks, strokes. Those are forms of non-elective treatment. So that's covered when you're outside of Thailand. No limit on countries also, by the way. However, elective treatment can also be possible. And elective treatment, as an example, is, let's say someone's just been diagnosed with cancer here in Thailand, and they say, hey, Pacific Cross, I've got this great doctor in Germany or Singapore that I've heard great things about, and I want to be treated there. So our company, what we will do is we'll accept it on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah.
And what I've seen from my own clients is, if the medical treatment is, we will pay out the medical treatment cost that is equivalent to the most expensive hospital in Thailand. So whatever the cost is at Bumrungrad or Bangkok Hospital, we will pay the equal amount on a case-by-case basis to that hospital in Singapore or in Germany, right? So this is important to understand, and a lot of insurance companies don't have that benefit even in Thailand. So if you're going back to your home country, see family for 2 weeks, for a month, you're doing your trips around Asia, you're covered, right?
It's very good, because that was one of the questions a friend of mine asked, because he had travel insurance, and once he was over in Thailand for more than 45 days, his travel insurance was null and void because he'd gone over the specified time. Although there's 90 days here, that also covers you from if you went to all over Asia, like Vietnam or Laos or Cambodia, you're insured, so you don't have to ask for more travel insurance because you've already paid in the premium. So again, ticks all the boxes for me. So thanks very much for that.
Thank you so much, Les. I appreciate it.
And leave your comments down below if you like the video. And again, this is the email address. If you want to know all of the questions, send him.
Yep.
Ask him whatever you want to do, because I can't give the answers that this guy can give you. So he's the number one. He'll tell you everything you want to know. So thanks very much for watching. Hope it's been of some use, and we'll carry on with these videos in the future. Thanks very much for watching.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.